It's hard to believe, but I have spent nearly 50 years speaking into a microphone, pouring everything I have and everything I am. This microphone is my best friend. I've told the microphone secrets that I never had told anybody else. I knew what I wanted to do when I was 8 years old. At 13, I began doing it. And for the first 15 years, it was about the art. It was about the storytelling. And yes, the money didn't hurt. I made some. But I lost all of it because in the end, it was empty. The more I worked, the harder I chased the dream. The bigger station, what'll be better is if I'm at this station. It's a bigger city, a bigger station. The paycheck is bigger. The bigger just built a bigger and bigger hole in me. And by 30, I was an alcoholic that was just completely empty inside. I was confused. I was tired. I was broke. In just a couple of years, I would lose my family. And the one thing that I always thought would fill me, my job, radio, had consumed me and spat me out. And so I thought, well, that's a fraud. I don't have anything with radio. And I decided to walk away. But God, as he tends to, had other plans. And he always does for all of us. God's not finished with me. He's not finished with you. Now, about that same time, I met a woman who became my wife, Tanya. And she really didn't care if I was a radio host or a garbage man. I stopped chasing me and started chasing him. And something happened. He blessed me with a wider and wider access to you. And I didn't deserve it. Many days I still feel I don't. The first time I spoke to you as a national audience was 2 days after 9/11. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about geopolitics, global conflict, the Middle East, currency, history, nothing. The night before I went on the air, I was on my knees all night, telling God, you have the wrong guy. I'm a fool that wasted my whole life. I don't have any answers. And all I heard was, follow me. And so I did. And on that first national broadcast, I told you, if you would accept that I come to the table with no answers at all, I will dedicate my life to try to find them with and for you. And we've been partners for a very long time. And you have allowed me in your home, in your car, in your shop, in your office, in your life. And we cried together on 9/11. We prayed together on 9/12.
November 11th, 2001.
We felt that unity, maybe, in some ways, for the last time when President Bush stood with that bullhorn at ground zero, and we were all one as a nation. And we wrestled with the Obama years. You were with me when my children were born, when we had attempts of suicide in my family. You were there when Tanya and I adopted our first adopted child, Rafe, our son. You were there when my grandchildren were born. And all that time, you might have thought I was watching the news or America, but I was actually watching you. I've seen amazing things from you. I've watched you through economic collapse in 2008. I'm watching you now through riots. I watched you during the pandemic. I've watched how you react as a group with threats of communism and fascism and globalism and nihilism. I've watched you love. I've seen you get married. I've seen you have children. I watched you rescue people from Afghanistan. Nobody. I think nobody but me really knows who you are. You're amazing. I've watched you send help over and over again and then show up yourself after disasters. I've watched you weep for people you've never met. I have watched so many give when they have so little. I I watched you and realized you're not an audience. You are the unseen force that makes America good. I am here because you took a washed up alcoholic DJ who wanted to do better and turned him into a man with real purpose. You changed my life. You know, when you get older, you start to think, how many years do I have left? You start counting them. And you start going, wait, what's really important? That's why I've changed what I'm doing and where I'm doing things and how I'm doing things and why I built the Torch, which today is its official launch day. Today is the day you can subscribe. I'm building the Torch for the dad who wants to teach his son what America really is and doesn't know how to do it. For the student who is just standing seemingly alone against all the lies in the classroom. For the woman drowning in digital noise and fear. For the person whose life has gone off the rails and just is looking for an answer. And this is different. I still will do everything I do on this show. But my torch, my mission is to help you. The answer to our darkness has never been politics. It has always been light, the torch. And there comes a time in every life and in every nation when you have to decide, who am I really? Not who we say we are, not who the polls say we are, but who we choose when the lights are off, the crowds are gone, and God is the only one watching, and we're not even sure if he's watching us anymore. Who are you at that point? For nearly 50 years, I've spoken into this, and I have learned something simple but really, truly eternal. The answers do not ever come from the top down. They rise in our soul. And they push outward. And if we lose that, if we trade the whisper of God for the roar of the crowd, then freedom. Real freedom slips quietly through our fingers. I don't believe that's the end of our story. I know God is still speaking to his people. God is still working through his people. God still has a purpose for you and me and everybody else. And the embers of this nation, this republic of Judeo-Christian world the embers are still glowing in the ashes. I believe there's a generation, maybe your children, maybe their children, maybe my children. I think it's this generation who are going to look back at this moment and say, did they remember who they were? And my prayer is the answer will be yes. We remembered that truth matters. We remembered that even though hate is strong, love is the answer. We remembered that we belong to one another. We remembered we are not accidents of history, but sons and daughters of a deliberate and loving God. So today, I come to you after decades of mistakes and lessons and heartbreak and grace. I'm telling you, this is the work of my final chapter. And it's not to chase ratings, not to win arguments, not to get rich, but to lift torches and to hand them to you and your children and to say, do not go quietly into the darkness. Do not be afraid of the dark. Refuse to live without the light. And if you're willing to join me, then together, we're not going to save a brand or a show or a nation as a political object. We just might share what's eternal in man: conscience and faith and courage and charity and truth.